I'm Anil Kumar. Welcome to my series on stem and leaf diagrams. In this video, we'll understand a few basic concepts, take up examples to master the techniques. Stem and leaf diagrams represent group data. That's kind of important to understand. We are actually representing group data in which the last digit of the data will be part of the leaf and all other digits form the stem. That is to say that if I have a data which is kind of like this, let's say 24, 36, 40, 74, let's say 1, 2, 3, 478, something like this. Now, in this case, what really happens is that the last digit, which is in this case once, will form part of the leaf, right? So we are going to sketch like this stem and leaf graph. So we'll always write stem on the left side and leaf on the right side. So for this data to represent, these numbers will come on the leaf side and those numbers will come on the stem side, right? So for example, here we have 12, 23, 37, 47. So these numbers will come here, 12, 23, 37, 47. While we write 12, we'll write 4 on this side. You get the idea, right? 23, 236. So 23 and then 6 comes on this side. 374, 3, 7 and 4. 478, 4, 7. 8 is the ones place. That will come on the leaf side. Now this is indeed a very not a good example at all, but gives you an idea. What are we trying to do? We are trying to split the number so that the last digit is written as a part of leaf, right? Now, since you know this has been written like this, it is easy to read. You can say this data was 1, 2, 4, but wait here. How do we know exactly it was 1, 2, 4? So for that, we have a key, right? So we have a key which should be defined. So in this particular case, we'll say the key here is that if I'm writing a number which is like 12, 4, it means what? It means 124. Do you see that? So that part is the key part. So whenever you sketch a stem leaf graph, you have to mention the key also. Now, once you know how to plot a stem leaf graph, sometimes we take 2 or 3 steps to do it. In step number 1, we may use the raw data, and in step number 2, we'll refine to order them as per the numbers. We'll also understand this particular technique of sketching back-to-back stem plots. Now there are very few videos on this, how to sketch back-to-back stem plots. This is a very important criteria which you will learn in the present video. And there will be a lot of examples which can help you to understand the complete topic. In case you have any doubts, you can always email me on the address given. Let's begin with understanding how to read the stem and leaf diagram. Now here is an example which says stem and leaf plot showing the times taken by athletes to run 100 meters measured to the nearest tenth of a second is given here, right? So the stem part has these numbers 12, 13, 14, 15. The leaf part has these numbers 4, 5, 8 and so on. You will see here that key is given to us. Now key indicates that 12, 4, right? 12 on the stem, 4 in the leaf part, 12, 4 means what? It means 12.4 seconds. So this is kind of important to understand, right? So key should be mentioned whenever you're talking about stem and leaf plots. So here we have a decimal value. So you see the topic I've changed it to stem and leaf plots with decimals. So we know that the time taken to run 100 meters for this runner is 12.4 seconds, right? So that's what it means. Now, based on the information given, we have 3 questions. Question number 1, A. Data for how many athletes have been recorded. B is, what is the best time for this data? Find the range, modal, and mean time of the data, right? So that is the information which you can actually get from the given data. Let us see how. So first part is data for how many athletes have been recorded. Just count the numbers in the leaf: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So clearly, this data has been recorded for 15 athletes, correct? So there are 15 runners for which we have timings here, right? So it is recorded for 15 athletes. Part B is, what is the best time? Best means fastest runner, right? So fastest runner means what? Least time, right? So that means clearly it is 12.4. So the time 12.4 is the least time. So that becomes our solution. Is that clear to you? Part C is find the range, modal, and mean time of the data. So let's see how to find the range. Range is maximum minus minimum. So in this case, maximum is 15.6, correct? So we have 15.6 minus 12.4. So that gives you the range. Units are seconds, right? So you can write this as 2 and 3.2, right? Seconds. So that becomes the range for the given information. Now, modal time. So mode basically is the most frequent, right? This is most frequent. So some of you may think that 13, this group has got many numbers, so that could be the answer. However, the answer should be the time which is most common. Now here, 14.3 has been repeated, so the most frequent is 14.3 seconds. Is that clear to you? Right? So that is how we are going to find the mode. Now, there are 15 athletes and we need to now find the median or mean time. Well, we are calculating the mean time, right? So mean time will be, you need to add them all and then divide by the number of athletes, correct? So you can do this calculation of adding them all. So we have mean. So basically, you have to add all this data. So we can use the calculator to add them all. So that is, I say sigma, we'll add all these times and then divide all that number by the total number of runners, which is, in our case, 15. Correct? So you can do this calculation. What I really wanted to write here was mode, right? So mode. Let me add that mode. Median. So I'm adding here median. So I'd like you to do this calculation, add all these numbers, divide by 15 to get the average time for the 15 runners. You may write down the answer in the comments below. Median is the center value. Now, since we have 15 runners, we will add 1 to 15 and divide by 2. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So 8th runner's timing will be the median, right? Which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So median for us is 13.9, right? So we get median as 13.9 seconds. Is that clear to you? Correct? I'm, however, skipping this portion of adding all these timings and dividing by 15, right? You can use calculator to do that. And now let's take other questions based on stem and leaf plot. And now we'll try to understand how to plot a stem and leaf plot given data. We'll also take example where we'll have back-to-back leaf plots. That'll be interesting. Here is an example. Using stem and leaf diagram, we are going to represent the given information. The question here is, marks scored by 20 students in a mathematics test are as follows. Draw a stem and leaf diagram. Find median, mode, and range. Now to draw a stem and leaf diagram, we have to place the last digit in the leaf and the rest in the stem. So these are ones and tens place. So ones place will be placed in the leaf. So in first step, what we will do here is that we'll write down the data as given us, right? As given to us. So in the first stage, we will arrange the data as given in the form of stem and leaf. So that data as given. So that ways, we do take longer time, but the idea here is to get it correct. Now, beginning with 32, 2 goes to the leaf part and 3 comes to the stem part. So this is the stem. 1 digit goes to the leaf part. Digit 2 will go to the leaf part. So 32. So that is how we are going to place it. So the key here will be that if I am writing 3, 2, 3 in the stem part, 2 in the leaf part, it means 32, right? That is kind of important to specify. Now let's continue with the other terms. We do have terms like 30, 40, 50, 60. So let's write 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in a sequence. So the next number here is 87. So 8 and 7, we put 87. 56, 5 and 6, 63, 6 and 3, 79, 7 and 9, 80 means 0 comes there, 91, so we have one more, 91, and then we have here 60, 60, 45, 4 and 5, 78, 7 and 8, 63, 6 and 3, 88, 8 and 8, 48, 4 and 8, 75, 7 and 5, 83, 8 and 3, 69, 6 and 9, 75, 7 and 5, 74, 39, 39, 8, 0. We are given 20 data elements. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 120. So we have actually, in a way, organized them in stem and leaf form. However, you have to place them in numerical order, right? So that's our final answer. So where we are going to place them in numerical order. Only then the job is complete, right? So finally, this is going to be our answer, stem and leaf chart, or diagram, or sometimes we say plot. So we have these numbers, 3, 2, 9, that is in order, that's fine. Then we have 4, 5 and 8, perfectly good. 5 and 6, okay, 6. So with 6 we have 3, 0, 3, 9, we'll put it 0, 3, 3 and 9. And with 7, we have 9, 8, 5, 5, 4. So we'll place 4 first, then 5, 5, 8 and 9. And then we have 8, which is 7, 0, 8, 3, 0. So 2 zeros comes first, and then 3, and then we have 7 and 8, and lastly 9 and 1. So that becomes our final answer for part A. Do you understand? Of course, the key is as shared with you earlier. So this is going to be our answer. I hope that is absolutely clear. Now we have done part A. In part B, we need to find median, mode, and range. So let's do part B here. So first let's figure out what is median. Since we have 20 students, the middle value will be between 10 and 11, right? How do we find it? Since there are 20 students, we'll add 1 to 20, divide by 2, and that gives you 10.5, right? So that means between 10th and 11th, we'll have the median, right? So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it is 10 and 11 is between these two, correct? So the median is between 74 and 75. So in this case, it will be 74 plus 75 divided by 2. So that will give us 74.5 as our answer. So the median is 74.5. Clear? So we can write down median is equal to 74.5. Now let's find what is mean. Mean mode, right? Now let's find out what is mode. Mode is most frequent, right? So mode is most frequent. So looking into the leaf part, is there anything which is repeating or more, right? So what we figure out that we do have 2 3s, right? So that means 63, 63. We do have 2 5s, that could also be a mode. And then we have these 2 zeros. So in fact, we have 3 modes here. So we have 3 modes in this particular case. So one mode is 63, the other one is 75, and then we also have 80 as the mode. So there could be more than one mode. That is important to understand. Correct? And now let's find what is range. Range is the maximum value minus minimum value, right? So that is the range. So the maximum value here is 91. So we'll do 91 minus minimum is 32. So we'll do 91 minus 32. So that will give us 9. And when you borrow from here, 8 take away 3 is 5. So the range here is 59. Correct? So range is 59. So that is how we actually solve such a question. I hope the steps are absolutely clear. Now in this series, we are talking about stem and leaf plots with decimals, with more numbers, and we are also talking about back-to-back stem and leaf plots. So I'd like you to look into those videos also. The question here is, length in centimeters of 12 pencil crayons is as follows, 17.2, 16.4 and so on. You need to do these 2 things. A, draw a stem leaf plot to show this data, and B is what is the median, mode and range of pencil length. So whenever you want to plot stem and leaf plots, the idea is to isolate the last digit and put it in the leaf part, right? So that's the whole thing. So we'll do it in 2 steps. In first step, we'll arrange the data as given, right? So group data as given. So the arrangement will be done so that we could have 1 digit in the leaf place and the rest for the stem, right? So we have stem part and the leaf part. Leaf is the one digit, right? The last digit. So 17.2, 17 will come here, and then 2 will go to the leaf part, right? So what we are actually doing here is we are trying to place all these values in the order given. Second is 16.4, so I'm placing 16 here and 4 in the leaf part. Then we have 18, so 18.6, so that is how we are going to place it. Then we got 17.4. We already had 17 here. We got 2. We'll place 4 in the same row. 17.5, 5 goes there, that becomes 17.5. Then we have 19.0. 19 is the new group. So in this group, we'll place 0. 17.4 is already there. We'll put 1 more. So if there is already a value given, you have to place another one. This represents the next data with the same value. 16.8, so there it goes. 19.0, another 19.0, 17.8, there it goes. 18.8, right there. 18.7. So we got this group data in the form of stem and leaf. And now finally, what we should do it, we should arrange the data in numerical order, right? So now we'll arrange this in numerical order. So that is going to be our final result, right? So this is our rough sketch. So finally, we get our stem and leaf plot. Now some of you, while placing this, you could have written 16 first and 17 later. However, when I say arrange them as given in the group, we try to go as per each data element. You understand? Now, we see that the order, numerical order 16 comes before. So we'll take up this group with 16. And in 16 we have two elements, 4 and 8. So we'll put those 4 and 8 in order. Now comes 17. In 17 we have 2, 4, 5, 4, 8. In numerical order it will be 2, 4, 4, 5 and then 8, right? Then is 18, right? So for 18, 6, 7 and 8, 6, 7, 8. And for 19 we have two data elements, 19, 0, 19, 0. So that becomes our final answer of part A, right? So this is what we are supposed to do in part A. So when you have to draw a stem leaf plot to show this data, that is how you do. However, it is still not complete. Most important here is also to remember that it has a key. You have to describe what this represents, right? So the key here is what? So if I am writing 16, 4, what does it mean? So 16.4 means 16.4. This is key to it, right? So that is how you can read the data. So if you do not include key, then you are actually not representing the data given in the question. So it is the important part which sometimes is forgotten. So that will be a huge mistake, right? So I hope that part is absolutely clear, right? So that answers your first question, which is draw stem and leaf plot to show this data. Now let's try to answer part B, which is we need to find what is the median, mode and range of the given pencil length, right? So median is the middle value. So let's answer here, part B. So we are looking now into median. Since there are 12 pencil crayons, we will add 1 to 12 and then divide by 2. So we get 6.5, right? So 6.5 is the position. So in this particular 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 0.5 means what comes in between 6 and 7, right? So after that, correct? So it is actually the element between 6 and 7, right? So in this case, what really happens is we have even numbers. So there are two numbers in the middle, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So basically what we see here is there are two elements which are kind of in the middle. We are looking for something in between these two, right? So we are looking for something 6.5 means after 6th position and before 7th position. So to get the value, we'll add them and divide by 2. So we have this position, right? So the values are 17.5 plus 17.8, and then we are going to divide this by 2. You get the idea, right? So that is how we are going to do it. Now in this case, when you do it, is 17 plus 17 divided by 2 will definitely give us 17. So we do get 17 here, but in the decimal place, 5 plus 8 is 13, right? So 13 divided by 2 will be 6.5. So here we get 6.5, that means 65. That becomes your median for this particular case. So the middle value, right? So sometimes when the calculator is allowed, you can always add, right, 17.5 and 17.8 and then divide by 2 to get your answer, which will be 17.65. Otherwise, easy ways, just add them and then 2. Now, since their 17 was common, so we just wrote 17 and we worked on the decimal place, slightly faster. Okay, let's look into the mode now. So in this case, how many values are repeating in the leaf? That is what you need to see. So in any row, we have these two 4s repeating, right? And here we have two 0s repeating. That means we have two modes in this case. So one of the mode here is 17.4. The other mode here is 19.0. So it has two mode in the given data. Perfect. The last thing here we need to find is the range. Range is the largest value minus smallest, right? So in this case, it is 19.0, which is the largest value, and the smallest value is 16.4. So when you take the difference, borrowing 1 will give us 10 take away 4, which is 0.6. 8 take away 6 is 2. So the range here is 2.6, and the units here will be in centimeters, right? So these are all in centimeters. So we get median of 17.65 centimeters, mode of 19 centimeters, and range of 2.6 centimeters. Is that clear to you? So that is how we are going to answer this question. I hope the steps are absolutely clear. The question here is, marks scored by 20 students in a mathematics test are as follows. So that is the data given to you. One set of marks for boys, another set of marks for the girls. Total is 20 students, 10 boys and 10 girls in this particular case. A. Draw back-to-back stem leaf plot to show this data. B is explain the performance of boys and girls for this data, right? So you can always pause the video, answer the question, and then look into my solution. Now in this, we can have stem in between, right? So what we normally have here is stem in between. So since it is 35, 46, so 33 becomes a part of the stem, right? And on the other side, we can have the leaf. So the structure is kind of like this. What you see here is data from it has been arranged. Normally it may not be arranged. Goes from 35 to 95. So in the stem part, we get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So I can write this here, right? So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now, let's take boys on one side and girls on the other side. So if I take boys on this side, let's now substitute the values and group the data into these groups of 30s. So 35 means 3 and 5, right? So what we see here is that the key is, as far as the boys group is concerned, the key over here is that 3, 5 means 35, correct? So in this case, it is 35 marks, correct? 35, you can say percent marks. So marks scored, so we'll write 35 marks. So that becomes the key. It is important to identify the key. Without that, this is not really meaningful. 46, so we'll put 6 here, then 49, 9, 58, 5 and 8, 60, 60, 67, 67, 78, 7 and 8, 85, 8 and 5, 91 and 95. So that becomes the data for the boys. Now for the girls, we'll put it on the other side. Let me use another ink here. Okay, so for girls, we have 58. Now 5 and 8. We have 5 here. We can place 8 on the left side, right? So 8 like this, 58. Now here the key is what? In this case, the key is that we are writing, first we are writing this 8, right? So when you see, it is 8/5, right? So it's like 8 bar 5. That really means 85 marks. Not 85. That means 58 marks, okay? Is the other way. So we are placing 5 in the stem, 8 in the leaf. So it is important to note that this 8/5 means 58 marks, correct? So 58 has been placed like this. 64, 6 and 4, 64. 67, 7 comes there. 68, 8. 69, 9, 73, 7 and 3, 75, 7 and 5, 80, 80, 84, and 85. So that becomes the data for girls. Do you see that? So that is how we are going to make back-to-back stem and leaf plot. So when you make back-to-back stem and leaf plot, so in that case the leaf comes on both the sides, right? And that becomes the stem. So normally we don't write stem, but you could write this is the stem part. And on leaf we have the girls and boys data as separated by a central column which works like a stem, right? In a way, that is how we could explain it, correct? And the keys explain 8 and 5 means actually 58. And here 5 and 8 means 58, right, on the boys side. So we've done part A. Now part B is explain the performance of girls and boys for this data. Okay, girls and boys for this data. So how do you explain this display of data? What does that explain to you? So one thing which we can always say is that the girls data is more concentrated, right? So let's answer part B here. So as far as the girls data is concerned, it is more consistent, right? So more consistent means less spread out. Correct? That means the range is also minimum, right? So less range, lower range. As far as the boys data is concerned, some boys really scored very high marks like 91 and 95. However, you see a wide. So it is not very consistent, right? So it is not consistent. Wide range. Right? So you have also see that boys have scored minimum as well as maximum marks. Have minimum and maximum marks. So these are a few points which can help you explain the data provided. Perfect. So I hope you find it interesting and useful how to display information in the form of back-to-back stem and leaf plot as given here. The question here is, height in centimeters of 20 students in high school is as follows. So boys information is given. It is given in a particular order, increasing order. Similarly, the girls information about the height in centimeters is given in increasing order. So you don't really have to arrange this part. Now the question here is, draw back-to-back stem leaf plots to show this data. And part B is, what is the range of height of boys and girls? So let's try to understand the concept of back-to-back and how is it related with these stem plots, right? So these are two parts. So when we talk about the stem plots, one number goes into the leaf part, the others remain in the stem. That's the whole idea. Now let's see first, let's plot boys data, right? So to plot boys data, what we could do here is we'll do boys data on the right side. So in the stem part, we see that the values could be 16, 17, 18, right? So those are the values. In the girls data, we do see 14, 15 also in addition to 16s. So I'm going to leave some space here so that we could add girls data in the same plot. We are looking for a back-to-back stem leaf plot, right? So the idea here is to plot boys data on the right side and the girls data on the left side. So keeping that in mind, the group in the center, I'll place this with 14, 15 to 18, right? So I'll write here 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Correct? So these are the heights of students in hundreds, right? 3 digits. So the last digit will go in the leaf part. 165, that means 16 and then 5, 165, 168, 58, 170, okay, 171, 174, 174 is again 175, and then 6 and then 7, 180. So these are the 10 data elements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 110 for the boys. Now, the key here is that 16.5 means what? It means 165 centimeters, correct? That is what it means. Now let's try to place the data for girls, and we'll make it as a back-to-back stem and leaf plot. So 149. We have 14 here, we'll paste 9 here. So the key now becomes, let's write down the key for girls. Key is, if I write 9, 14, it really means what? It means 149. Do you see that? That is the key. Now it's kind of important to clearly write what key is, right? Otherwise, these numbers do not make much sense, right? Okay. 152, 1, 5 and 2, 152, 154, 4 comes here, 156, then we have 9, 160, so 160, 162, 166, 167, and 169. So we get all the information. So we get all the information right there, and this is what you call a back-to-back stem leaf plot, right? So this is what we have, back-to-back we just call it stem plot or diagram. Okay. So we've done part A of this particular question. Now B is, what is the range of height of boys and girls? So range, as you know, is highest minus a minimum value. So let's write down the range for girls. So the range here is the maximum 169 minus 149, correct? So which is 20. As far as boys are concerned, the range is what? Range for boys is 180 is the highest value, right? Take away the lowest, which is 165. That gives you 5, and then 7 take away 6 will be 1. So you get 15. So in this case, we get a range of 15. So from the data, we know the range for the girls is much more than that for the boys, right? So 20 and 15 is our answer. So that is how we are going to find range of both boys and girls, maximum minus minimum value. So I hope now both the things are absolutely clear. How to plot a back-to-back stem diagrams and how to read the information from them. I hope that makes sense. Feel free to write your comment, share your views, and if you like and subscribe to my videos, that'd be great. Thanks for your time and all the best.